It is high time that we do something with this giant open area here down in the bottom section of the village. Welcome back, everybody, to Tritoncraft Season 2. Hello. Hi. You're way up there. I'm way down here because we're in flashback right now, and we're going to be switching over into a little bit of some time-lapse action here in just a few moments. But I just wanted to jump in here and say hi. And apologize again for just last week being the whole time-lapsey thing of our beautiful, amazing seaside park that we made down there headed toward the ocean. We're going to take a look at that a little bit later today. But as we saw in the time-lapse there to open up the episode, we have kind of completely cleaned out this whole giant space down here. We could probably get rid of these flowers because these are going to end up needing to move anyway. And what we are going to do here is up top here, we of course have all of this different stuff laid out up here, and we can see over there in the distance, you can see down there at the beginning of the village, we have finally finished our cartographer house. That is completely done. We'll check that out a little bit later as well, but it's high time. Like, it was starting to get so cluttered down here with all the different like just random buildings. Like, there was still one of the original village houses down here, all my librarians were still down here, and everything else here. But if the camera will just switch over here for me for just a second here, yeah, this is where all of our villagers are now, just kind of all hanging out in here in their mine carts, just in here at the top of the stairs where our Alay is sitting in here in the little boat in here. So yeah, so we still obviously got to build the library and move these guys into the library. We're using fresh animations, by the way, which you could definitely tell by seeing all the fun, cool animations on these guys. I really love fresh animations. I'm finally glad that I finally figured out how to get it to work. I'm not a smart man, you see, so it definitely took me some time to get it sorted out. But yeah, I'm really excited. So I think the first thing that we have to do is, just like we did up top, we have our little outlines up here with our wool blocks. We're not going to use wool. I got calcite. And we're going to go ahead and make some pathways down here, and we're going to outline the foundation for a couple of structures. There's going to be fewer structures down here because there's going to be bigger structures down here. Our library is going to be down here, and I haven't really decided what else. We're going to outline it, and then we'll see what we end up building there in the future. But in the meantime, hi, hello, I love you, beautiful faces. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to get to a time lapse here in just a moment. And then after that, like I said, we're going to go check out our seaside park and all of the fun additions that we have done here in the village since I've been away and been sick and been like, I'm finally, I'm at like 95% right now. Like, still trying to get rid of a little bit of congestion. The cough finally went away, so that's been nice. But at any rate, let's go ahead and jump on into a time lapse and let's get some pathways done here. That looks a lot better. I don't know what any of these buildings are going to be just yet, except for this. This is going to be the library right here. This big L-shaped thing right here. This is going to be the library down here, because I really need a sizable building for it. Obviously, it's going to fit all of our librarians in it. Plus, we're going to decorate it with bookshelves and all that kind of fun, happy stuff. Going to have all of our book storage and different things like that in there. I'm thinking of other different structures that I know I want to build. We need a smeltery or a forge room. I was originally going to build it up top, but I think maybe instead it's going to be built right here. Maybe it'll be this room here, because I kind of made this a little bit more circular than most of the rest of them here. And the rest of these probably be houses. That'll be a house there, and then it'll be a house over there. Like I said, I didn't want to cram a bunch of smaller stuff in down here, and we'll add obviously some decorations, some foliage, and some different things like that. We got to add some lights. We got to get our little copper lamp design rock and rolling down here, get rid of all this torch spam that we've got all over the ground down here. I'm really, really excited about it. Now it just looks so much better to have this like this, as opposed to having it all set up like it, you didn't have the pathways going anywhere or anything like that. There's still a lot of green down below there. I guess part of it's within the bounds of the structures though. But looking up top versus looking down below, you can see kind of the difference of how much green is down below. I think I kind of want to keep that little flip. I think I want to keep that little differentiation there. I actually kind of think I like it. Oh, you know what we got to do? We also got to add a little, well, we've got to figure out how the towers are going to go in here first, though. Obviously, some of these landscape areas are going to change just a little bit once the walls go in. But that's kind of the other thing, right? Like, I want to get the roads and stuff like that outlined so that way we know exactly what the rest of the structures and stuff like that are going to look like around the, look at the pathways up top versus the pathways down bottom. I mean, I think we need to buff them out just a little bit more, add a little bit more deep slate and stuff like that along the outer edges of them here. There's a lot more green down below, like a lot more green down below. So yeah, I think we might end up tweaking that or something like that, but I don't want to take up any more time in this video working on this thing here. This is obviously going to be a work in progress here, but I want to take a look now. If you get the camera, get it back in here, zoop, get it up in there. There we go. Let's go and let's check out. Oh, I forgot we can't do this next to the thing here. We can't do that. But now we will move our attention over to our cartographer's house. Of course, we had this made with terracotta previously, and I could not make it work in my head. And I think that was the thing that was really tripping me up about it, is I just couldn't make a motif work with it the way that I was hoping to. Not that we won't use terracotta, not that I didn't like the colors or even the contrast between them, but I feel like I want the village to be a lot more consistent in terms of the building materials that are used between the different structures here. So of course, we copied the same motif over here. We've got a mixture of mossy cobble, we've got our tuff in here, and we've got our regular cobblestone. Bam, smack that switch there. There's our dude. What's up, guy? He sells the mappages. We got the mappages. We can get the mappages from this dude here. I'm going to add more. I want to add more of the different maps, some of the other different maps that we found around on the walls in here. We've got this globe. This is a custom head in here from minecraftheads.net.com. It'll be in the description down below. We have a little barrel action in here. That's where all of our stuff is stored to trade with our cartographer there. Lots of other decorations in here, which I really, really love. A little barrel of wheat there. Got our pale oak sapling in the little planter pot there. And we've got a big pot. Again, this is another custom head from minecraftheads.net. I don't know what it is. Down in the description. But yeah, we've got that boiling on, of course, our little smoker here for cooking stuff. It's really cool because sometimes I'll look in the window and he'll just be standing here like this. Almost like he's sitting here like stirring this big giant pot. Of course, we've got our fireplace down here, which I always really wanted to add in here, was this nice fireplace. I dug out the basement in the time lapse. I dug out the basement of this here and then added some stuff down in here. But then I'm like, well, since I half slabbed the floor, this is going to look really, really weird if I try to do anything with this space. So I don't really think we're ever going to do anything with this. We're just going to kind of leave. Look at my head. Look at my head looking like legitimately straight down. Looks so weird. Anyway. I really, really love this, though. I think there's just a lot of nice little details packed into this small room here. We got our maps. I want to clear some maps as well, like some of our different treasure maps and some of our different cartographer maps. Clear them and bring them in here. You know, like, there's no spawnable areas anywhere around my village, but I have the other guys outside, and somehow a frickin' zombie got to all of them and turned them into zombie villagers. So we said farewell to them. We had to say goodbye. I think to go down below here, I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and take a nap here. And then we're going to grab our horse and we're actually going to head it down to the barn that we have down there at our seaside park. You may also notice that this looks a little bit different here. We actually finally did shrink this window down. I got tired enough of looking at this not being symmetrical underneath that roof, and now I think it looks a lot better now that we've got just this little symmetrical eave right underneath the peak of the roof where the house comes over the corner like that. In the smaller window, I really, really love that. But we've also added these little hitching posts to a few different areas around the village. We got to add more, obviously. But we've added these little hitching posts so that way we can make sure we're anchoring our horses whenever we come down to these things. So if we take our horse and we're just going to ride right down to the seaside here, down our little pathway, I was really trying to figure out what to fit into this area down here, and I knew I wanted to build another barn, but I was not sure exactly what we were going to do when we were down here. So we've got another little hitching post here, so we're just going to go ahead and get off of that. There we go. We're going to hitch you up right there, my friend, so you just hang. I love the fresh animations because all the animals give you side-eye, which I think is really funny. But let's kind of take it like in a full tour style here. From the entrance over here that we created. And of course, right here over on the left, we've got this beautiful little grove of orange trees. And I love, again, you've got the little fruits and stuff like that all over the ground here. These, if you remember the time lapse from last week, these actually went through a couple of different iterations here. I think I did record something for this. I may try to plug it in here. If you see it right now, then I did it. If I didn't plug it in here, then it wasn't any good footage because I actually haven't reviewed any of it yet. I always really wanted to build another barn down here. I couldn't get that idea out of my head. I really wanted to build it, but I didn't want to build another crop farm down here. I didn't want to build potatoes or carrots or whatever else. It just didn't make sense to me. But then with 1.21.4, of course, it gave us the inspiration to build a new barn by using the pale oak wood, but also gave me a little inspiration in terms of what I actually want to build here. And that's going to be some beautiful fruit trees. Down here, I decided to use some achacha leaves. I thought that would look really nice here, and kind of following the same motif that we did in our village, not our village, our ocean monument base with the little small orange trees that we built out there. I thought we could actually slap together some custom trees here and put some orange trees together. So I'll probably talk through maybe this one, and then we can go. Why does that not look? Never mind. I'm an idiot. I want to use the acacia leaves because I want a little bit of a different leaf variation over here. Of course, we're already using the spruce leaves, obviously, everywhere. We're in a spruce forest. And then we've got the azalea leaves and some of the cherry blossom leaves in some of our bush designs and stuff like that. So I'm like, I really want to introduce another leaf element here. So I figured that this was as good of an opportunity as any. Is our sun? No, it's not that late in the day yet. Can't be that late in the day yet. These are just going to be some small custom trees. These are not going to be like super big or anything like that. Like this will just be kind of maybe like a little small orange grove that we're going to then pepper with our resin, which of course we've been farming like gangbusters here. I actually have 4 of our little resin modules now for smacking creaking around in the nighttime, which I really, you know, we're just getting enough for our purposes. Like it is what it is. It's not going to be the most productive farm stuff ever, but it's at least going to give us enough to kind of do what we need to do. But yeah, if we just do like something like this here and pop on the back here like so, and then we do something like well, I always tend to, when I design trees, I always tend to make them a little chonkier than they should be, and then I trim them back like afterward, like because not like this just like it's way heavy to the one side to me, like it's like falling forward, especially because we're using such a small little post as our thing here. Let's grab our hoe. I figured why not build 1 or 2 of these on camera here before we settle into the time lapse here. And I build all the rest of them, but yeah, I'm really loving this area, kind of doing some more terraforming over here next to the village, kind of expanding out this area. Yeah, let's de-chonkify this thing a little bit here. This is just a little bit redonkulous here. I can have that branch popping out there. I don't hate that. I'm kind of fine with that one there. Let's look on this side here. I kind of like that too, although I feel like we might need a couple more leaves on that side there. Maybe. No, I feel like it gets even that, like it makes it like a little bit too heavy. So let's actually trim that side down there. And let's maybe just put like a leaf block or 2 like right there. I feel like that is, yeah, that's a little bit better. Like maybe, and I feel like maybe we need to add a little bit more leaf structure to the backside there. Yeah, let's actually add some leaves on the back too, because I feel like maybe that'll help de-chonkify the front. Like it won't feel like it's leaning so much if we have a little bit more leafage out here on the back area. Maybe something like that will work. I definitely like it. It balanced out the chunk, but I wonder, is the tree too fat for how small the base is? It's just a little pole there. It's just a little pole, so I feel like maybe this is a little bit too much. Like maybe the tree is a little bit too big. If we were gonna if I was gonna use like actual wood instead of the fence posts as the tree thing, then maybe we could get away with that. But because we're using the fence posts, I feel like maybe we're going at it like a little bit too hard. You know, like maybe we're just like adding a little bit too much in here. Let's remove that fence piece there. Let's add one more in there. Let's kind of try to keep these a little bit on the smaller side, because I do like the fence post. There and there. I think we'll need one there as well. There's kind of no real rhyme or reason that I follow for this. I kind of just keep doing it until I feel like it just, like, once it reaches a certain point, then it just kind of clicks in my head where it's like, oh yeah, it looks right. That looks perfect. You know, once I get to that point, that's basically where I stop with my building process. Doesn't help that I'm using the leaves as scaffolding too, so it's like, what? I don't like that, and I don't like the corners necessarily. I feel like the corners are a little bit much. I feel like maybe we nailed it. It's got too much chalk toward the front still. It still feels like it's going to lean forward too much. Maybe if we add a little bit more leafage on the back there. It still feels to me like it's just too big. Let's take this corner here out of there. Okay, to make the leaf structure of it look a little bit more unique. I don't care if we have some of the fence posts exposed. I think that looks okay. Not every tree is going to be like straight up or anything like that either, though. Like, it needs to also make sense kind of in the physical space here. Like, does it look okay? You know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know. I second guess myself a lot when I do this kind of stuff, so I tend to go through a lot of iterations before I land on something that I'm really happy with. Maybe that's just what we needed. Well, I had that one there, and then I removed it. I'm pretty sure I've taken that out and put it back in there like 3 different times. I don't know that any of these are necessarily going to stay in here better than this. They really... I mentioned this over on Twitter and on Blue Sky, but I was like, they really need to give us the ability to dye resin now. Like, I really hope that that's something that they introduce now that they've introduced this block type to the game, because it's just going to give us this ability. The possibilities with resin especially are endless. Like, with being able to build different fruit trees and stuff, if you give us the ability to dye this, like, because then you could have like blue trees, you could have like pink trees, like some kind of pink fruit or whatever. Like, it doesn't have to make necessarily sense in the physical world, but if you do something like that, then it could be something even like really, really cool. There we go. Get a little bit under here too. I feel like really making sure that this looks right is like peppering fruit blocks like everywhere on it. Get these out of here, and let's see what that looks like here. I actually really, really like it. I think it looks really, really nice. Not perfect, necessarily. We probably... what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to build a bunch of the trees here. We're going to get a whole bunch of them in here in just a couple of rows. And then I'm going to take a look at it from a distance, and we're going to see what it all looks like. We'll probably also pepper the ground in here. I think we're going to replace some of this ground in here with podzol, and I also we'll take some of the resin clumps and we'll just kind of dot them around on the ground, kind of like we did in the Ocean Temple, where it looks like we just have a little bit of them down here on the ground. Yeah, I'm still not 100% sold on that tree there, but it might just be that tree's just not agreeing with me. Like, maybe I just need to take that one back to the drawing board a little bit. But, yeah, let me build some more trees, and let me kind of terraform this area a little bit more, and then we'll jump back in here and we'll take a look at it and see what it looks like. Goodness, the splash of color that this adds out here, I think, is perfect. Welcome back, everybody. And so I figured out while I was in the middle of the time lapse there what the issue was. No, the fact that the trees were too short. And that was really the thing. It looked too stubby. It looked too short to sustain the weight of the little, bulb of leaves and everything that we were putting up on top of it. But I increased the height of it, and then as soon as I increased the height of it, it literally just made sense. I decided to go against the podzol for the ground, since I've already been using this coarse dirt and gravel motif in the pathway and in some of the bushes. I thought that it would be a really good thing to incorporate it here into our little grove of orange trees, which again, this looks so beautiful. Love it so much. Of course, we got little tiny bits of them on the ground here. We added in some grass and some ferns and some things like that as well. I think that this just looks perfect. I really, really do. I love it so much. I really think the best part of this is going to be this kind of introduction to a new color in the palette down here, because as you walk down the pathway over here on the left, all of a sudden you're going to get these beautiful orange trees as you walk in here along the pathway. We should add some fencing in along here. Do I have any fencing? Yeah, I do. Yeah, let's add a little bit of fence pieces in here, just in like some of the different areas, because that's the same motif that we've already been doing for the different other areas of the pathway. I think we already had one there. So yeah, we just needed a couple pieces of it there, which that just adds even more to it. And the brown and the orange really set each other off a little bit too. So the more of that brown you get in there, the better that helps that. But yeah, I just love now that we've got like this little extra splash of color in here. So we're just really adding to the canvas down here. We've already got the reds and the greens and the browns and the darker colors from the deep slate and things like that, to the things like the copper where we've got the green and the brown kind of mixed together and everything. And now we're adding in, of course, the resin. I really, please, Mojang, please, for the love of God, give us dyeable resin. Like, it makes sense. Like, you think about people using resin for things nowadays, the way people build with resin and make things with resin where they make it all sorts of different colors. I think that there's a real good opportunity here to expand the usefulness of that, like, a lot. And again, I think one of the most important things is adding them on the underside of the blocks too. Really helps to kind of flesh it out, because it just feels a little bit too little without that. Did you see it? I don't know if you saw it or not, because editing Nick hasn't touched this episode yet. But I do really love the beautiful orange trees in here. Like I said, I love that they're a little bit taller. I think I tried to build one of them on camera. I think that was one of the whole kinds of things, because I wanted to show kind of my thought process as I tried to build these little small trees here. You'll notice the ground in here is podzol, and I only really did this to contrast against all of the other things that we've got going on in here and really make it pop in terms of looking different. So that's why we went with podzol as our ground block in here as opposed to anything else. Of course, we've got our beautiful fenced in area over here with all of our horses in here. I had to fix this because the horses, like, one of them is going to end up doing it while we're in here, but they will come off of this thing and they'll get in here and they'll just start jumping way up in the air. And I don't know how they end up doing it. See, there you go. Look, see how high he jumps? It's just super weird how they end up jumping like that. This little idea in here where I put these this little row of bushes in here in between this fence, because the horses can climb out on the lights, right? Like, the light is a full block post right there. The horses can climb out. So we decided to put another fence inside of this, and I still needed something to fill into this area. In the time lapse, I put about 5 different things in here, from flowers to coral to all sorts of different things. And I was like, you know what if we just put like bushes? What if we just put bushes in there? What do you think, Mr. Side-Eye Horse? that I'm inside of your face right now. And of course, we've got our beautiful barn over here. I went with a little bit different motif. Of course, we decided to use the white pale oak wood, but I really didn't like the way in the initial time lapse, I did build the barn with all white trapdoors as well. The problem is this handle thing that's on these trapdoors, which looks really, really great when you're using them for applications like this. But when you're trying to do something like build barn doors, it does not look nearly as good to have that handle on every single block. I wish there was a clean version of this that you could also have. Like, I wish there were more than one version of the trapdoor if that was something possible. Maybe you make this trapdoor with 6 pieces of wood and with an iron nugget or something to put the handle in there, and if you did it without it, it wouldn't have the handle. I really wish that that was an actual thing, that you could make different variations of it there. But again, I love, we've got our nice entrance here. We used our little chocolate dark oak wood, and I thought that'd be a nice contrast, pale oak and dark oak, and it's a beautiful, beautiful contrast. And again, the floorboards up there are the same thing. This is just going to be storage for horse stuff. So we've got all of our hay down there. We've got some leads in there. We've got horse armor and saddles rocking and rolling in there. We've got a map of the whole area from when we completed construction of this area, and I really, really love it. It's as big as the village, and that's kind of the crazy thing is I know a lot of it's still just foliage and a lot of it was just terraforming work, but it's as big as the entire village is. So I really, really love how, I mean, I just felt so sick, and like I couldn't really do this where I'm talking to you guys and going through my thought process and explaining everything that I'm working on and all those different things, but I was still play some blocks because that was really, 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 really important to me. Of course, we've got our hay in here, and we've got another hitching post right there, and up here, more storage, obviously. Just because, whatever. Because, I mean, this is how much spruce wood. All the trees I planted to create podzol in order to be able to turn this whole area into podzol. Lots and lots of big double tall or 2x2 spruce trees, I should say. Lots of pale oak wood in here, too. We've got a ton of that stuff. I really, really love it. If we open this fence and head into the park proper here, we got our little pathway here that splits in both directions. If we head over here, we've got some picnic tables. Over here off to the side, I'd love to add some more armor stain stuff in here and put some snacks or something like that in on top of these. I may add, because we do have one grill over there, but I may put some of those smaller, you know, you go to a park and there's like the little pole with just a little metal box on it with a grill. I gotta figure out how to make that in Minecraft and how to make it look good. And then maybe I could do something like that, like a little boop, little things next to the picnic tables. But I really love the picnic tables. These are super, super neat. Again, I love this. A nice transition. There's a little bit of a contrast, but I don't think it's too terrible between that and the gravel. And I think the podzol is enough of a contrast that it doesn't make that contrast stand out as much. In here by the fire, we got a little pupper here taking a little nappy poo by the fire. What you doing, bud? He's having the time of his life, sinking into the mud block. Love it. We just sit here on one of our logs around our beautiful little campfire here and warm ourselves by the fire. You cross over the water here, across this thin little mud section here, over to where we've got picnic tables over here. And we've got some bench-style seating around this campfire, which again, I think looks absolutely incredible. I love this so, so much. And just, I wanted to put trees back in here. I wanted there to still be a forested feel to this, but I wanted, obviously, for there to be lots and lots of stuff in here because we got families coming down here to go barbecue. I think we may put some armor stains with some people down here, too, at some point. I haven't decided exactly what I want to do yet. We've got our grill rock and rolling over here. We've got a giant steak sitting on one burner there, and we've got our big pot boiling on the thing there. Maybe we're making some meat stew or something like that down here. Even in the picnic table, like look at the way it looks on the picnic table. Like I think it looks better here than it did on the barn door, but even still I would totally do away with that handle bit if I could in different applications, but I really love it for some other ones. Walk down our pathway here again, nothing but just a whole bunch of wooded area over here. We got lights hidden underneath there, and look at the tough transition. Look at that. Look at that. That's so good. We'll back out here and we'll go over to our horsey who's hanging out over here. We'll go ahead and we'll hop on our horsey and we'll take him around the track here. Now, I got a really fast horse, so this is going to have to take some time here to kind of slow down so you can see some of the different details around here. Of course, we added in a whole bunch of more berry bushes and stuff like that, doing different things. More of the regular bushes that we've been building everywhere. We've got some in there along the side of the barn. We've got one right in there like that. I love these little pathway pieces, and I think you can see it really good in the time lapse in the previous episode. These just nice big patches of coarse dirt. They break up the texture of the podzol a little bit, and they help transition back to the dirt and grass a little bit better. And I really, really love how they just kind of are splotchy, like all over the racetrack area. Like obviously, maybe some parts of it aren't as well maintained, or like they haven't like gone through and raked it out or something like that. And I really, really love these bridges. Just cobblestone. I thought about doing a variation in blocks. Maybe I'll shove some tuff in here, but honestly, I really kind of love it just being a plain cobblestone bridge. And of course, we got down here in our entranceway here where we built this little river flowing down through to kind of break up the land area a little bit. We've got it coming downhill down underneath where this bridge is. I wish you could get this water to collapse a little bit better into this. Maybe I'll tinker with it again. I did it like... I probably spent more time trying to finesse that water to get it flowing out of the thing the way I wanted it to than I did actually placing the blocks that actually make that bridge area up. But I really, really love that. I love all the block variation and stuff like that we've got going on in there. If we take a look, we've got all of our different bushes hanging down here. We do have lights. Bam, there's a sea lantern down in there. Hanging down in there, we've got more of our bushes adding light and kind of trying to push the lit up area around the boundary of the Seaside Park area. And we even did a bush with the pale oak leaves, which I think looks actually really, really good. And I think this meshes in with this stone really, really well here into the landscape. I thought that that looked really, really nice. We'll probably mix a couple more of those into our landscape area and things like that as we go. Over here, we get onto our other bridge, and this is where we can go over into our area where we've got our water coming out here. And again, we've got nice gravel and tuff and like all that different construction popping out here. And we've got these metal grates. You can't really tell this too much from further away, but if we pop in here and we look, we've got the fogged glass effect going on through here. We can actually pop through here and see it get brighter as we go through each subsequent layer of glass. I don't know how much you can really, really tell from looking. If you look right here, just like right inside of there, you can't see the lights down at the end there, and you kind of just see it fading into the distance, which is kind of exactly what I was going for. I don't know 100% how well that works, but I really, really do love this. I wanted there to be something where this was coming from, but I think what we may actually do is we may try to figure out a source for that underground, somewhere underneath there, because there's not a whole lot underneath there. That's in the direction of where the barn is over there. So I think we might try to add something in there. I really do love this river, you know, not very deep. It's just got like little bits of areas. And then again, we intentionally created this little mud bridge. So you got to get your feet a little wet if you want to get to those picnic tables over there. That's fine. You can get your feet a little bit wet. You'll be all right. I feel like I've already, I can't believe I've already shown you all of the different stuff here. Like, I feel like it's crazy to have actually already shown you all the stuff that is in the Seaside Park, but there's not a whole lot of different stuff here. A lot of it's just kind of, I hate to say it this way, but it's kind of the overall experience of the whole thing. I really, really think that a lot of it is just tied to that kind of visual idea of what all of this looks like when taken as a whole. Just all of the detail. I mean, you could just see when you look at the area from afar, and especially when you watch through that time lapse that I put together, you see this whole transformation of this whole area, and you just see so much little detail. And I think this is one of the things that I really wanted to do in Tritoncraft Season 2 between the village. Obviously, we've got to get back out to the Ocean Fortress and get that finished up, but obviously here in our area as well, I really wanted to kind of condense these areas down and get lots of detail built into them. I really felt that it was very important to make sure that we're adding a lot of extra detail in here, because I don't want to mess around with, having areas that I feel like could be better, could be put together a little bit better. But that, I think, is going to do it for another episode of Tritoncraft Season 2. We're going to try to stick to weekly episodes. I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I've got live stream planning that I've got to get started working on. It's going to be our 9th year raising money for the Cancer Research Institute. That's going to be coming up in May, and I really haven't gotten started planning much with that yet. So stay tuned for information on that. But I'm going to try to stick to a weekly schedule going forward from here and getting more stuff done. Next episode, I'm not 100% sure what we're doing. I think we may head back out to the Ocean Fortress, or we may do something completely different. I'm not going to hold myself to anything because obviously I have a lot of kind of different irons in the fire, as it were, as far as Tritoncraft Season 2. But I do want to thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Make sure you're doing something to make your corner of the world a better place, however you can possibly do that. Make your world a better place to live in. Thank you so much, everybody, for spending a little bit of time with me here. We'll see you next time in Tritoncraft Season 2.